Hey, how's it going? Today I am talking about your pre-race warm-up.
This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury-prone Run Disney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line.
Okay, so you know you should be warming up for all of your runs, but what do you do for race day? Because as a Run Disney runner, you know that you're getting to the corral super early. You may be waiting around for half an hour, maybe even longer if you are in the last corral and you get there when corrals open. That's a long time to be standing around and waiting. So what do you do? So if you've been in this world for any length of time, you know that I recommend warming up before a run. Typically, warming up before a run looks like walking for 10 to 15 minutes, maybe longer, depending on how soon after your injury has started feeling better that you're getting back into running, and overall just what your routine looks like. For me, I walk at a good clip for about 10 minutes. A warm-up is something to get your heart rate up, your blood pumping, so that your muscles are ready to accept the amount of blood that they need to run. So what I mean by that is when we are just sitting, doing nothing, maybe we're even sleeping, our blood is going to our vital organs to keep us alive. So our body shunts the blood flow to our internal organs so that whatever they're doing, we're resting and digesting. So maybe it's going to your stomach and your intestines to digest your food. When we are active, our body shunts our blood to our skeletal muscles. So our arms and our legs, whatever body part is going to need the blood flow the most. So for an adult who just gets up and starts running, no warm up, they are going to feel muscle cramping. Their calves are going to tighten up, they're going to constrict, they're going to feel like lead and super duper tight. That is because your body has now tried to shove a whole bunch of blood flow to muscles that aren't ready to accept the blood flow. So our blood vessels, I'm going to get a pen here. So these are not exact replicas. This is a pen and a chapstick, a lip balm. So imagine that the blood vessels in your calf muscles, as a great example, are the thickness and circumference of this pen, okay? But when we are active and moving, our blood vessels need to be the circumference of this lip balm. They are different, smaller with the pen, bigger with the lip balm. That's because the blood vessels need to dilate to accept more blood. That means they need to open and widen to accept more blood so that that blood can then be used by the muscles. If we all of a sudden just start running, all of this blood flow goes to the muscles and it's trying to get through the pen-sized blood vessels instead of the lip balm-sized blood vessels that we need them to go through. So the lip balm-sized blood vessels being bigger can accept more blood. Your muscles get it faster because there's more area for the blood to come through as opposed to the pen. So a warm-up tells your body, hey, we are going to be working our muscles. Let's get the process going to dilate those blood vessels so our muscles can accept all of this blood. So when we're just standing around and waiting in the cold corrals, usually it's cold because it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, our blood vessels are constricted to conserve heat and they're not expecting to do activity yet because you haven't told your body that you're going to be doing activity yet. So you want to warm up your body while you're in the corral. So a few things you can do, depending on where you are in the corral. If you need to be right up front, I will talk about what you should do in just a minute. If it doesn't matter to you where you are in your wave, in your corral, and you can kind of hang out outside of the corral, that's who I'm going to talk to first. So, what you can do in that instance is literally walk around fast paced near your corral. Now, the way things are working, be careful that your corral doesn't close. So make sure you get into it before it closes. But if you have the time and it doesn't matter where you are in the corral, go ahead and just do some fast paced walking for 10 to 15 minutes before your corral is going to set off. If you have to be at the front of the corral and you know you're wedged in there, see if you can make some space and do some things right there in the corral as your pre-race warm up. So some things you can do is heel raises, so standing on your toes, lifting your heels off the ground. You can do marching in place. You can do butt kicks in place. You can do some side leg swings. Now, you might need to maneuver yourself for these ones to change position so you don't hit people around you. If you have enough room, doing jumping jacks in place is great. That will get your blood flowing. All of these movements will get your blood flowing. Jumping jacks are especially good because you're doing moving multiple joints at one time and not just one set of muscles and joints. So what I recommend is if you're doing those ones that are just in the corral, static standing, your heel raises, your high knees, your butt kicks, your leg swings and rotations, do 5 repetitions in a row and do all 4 of the different movements in a row. Every minute that goes by in those 10 minutes leading up to your start. Okay. Now, you also will be moving with your corral to get up to the start line. So that is some good movement as well. But you don't really have control over how fast you're going with that. So it might not warm you up enough because you need to get your blood pumping to increase your heart rate by 20% for it to be an effective warm up. So if you're just in any part of the corral, you can walk around or jog around the corrals. If you have to be in a certain part of the corral at the very front maybe, and you have some room, do your heel raises, high knees, butt kicks, leg swings to get all of the joints of your lower legs moving, get the blood pumping, and using those muscles so that they're ready to accept the blood flow for when you start running. I also recommend, if you can, walk or slowly jog the first half mile to mile of the race. It's really congested and crowded in the beginning of a race, as you know, and it's hard to get into your own rhythm. So stay off to the side, either walk or do a slow jog. So stay off to the side on either the walker side or the runner side, depending on where you are, and warm up that way. So you go a little bit slower than whatever your race pace is going to be to build up to it. Because if you go 0 to 60 straight from the gun, you're going to cramp and you're going to feel like your legs are super heavy, can't move, and just like this vice grip around them. So you start off slower and work your way up to warm up your body. So those are ways that you can actively warm up. Other things you can do is wear layers, wear warm clothes, bring hand warmers, bring foot warmers. So, put them in your shoe or wear knee-high socks and put the hand warmer in your socks and have those there, keeping your muscles warm, keep your body wrapped as best you can while you're just standing around so that you don't get too cold and you're ready for the race.
Hey, can I ask a quick favor? If you're enjoying this podcast, would you take 20 seconds to leave a rating and review? Leaving a rating and a review helps other runners find this podcast because the platform you're listening to this on will start suggesting it to runners like you. All it takes is 20 seconds. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. As always, thanks so much for listening. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.